Media center of the SCO summit in Tianjin in China, and I'm being joined by Lily Liu, who is the business anchor at the CGTN. Lily, thank you very much for joining me. And it's great to have a conversation with you, particularly with regards to what are going to be the key expectations of the SCO summit that concludes tomorrow evening.
As we all know, that the SCO Summit in Tianjin is expected to be one of the biggest events of the platform in years. And tomorrow we are all looking for concrete outcomes from the major summit meetings. For instance, there will be the Tianjin Declaration, and then the SCO will lay out a 10-year development plan, which will send us the directions of high-quality development of nations being covered, whether it's member states or partner states. We're going to see a synergetic development for the next 10 years. And I think if we look at the path of the SCO from a modest beginning to now, the framework covers more than around 26 countries already. And looking at trade volumes, trade and economic cooperation amongst members and partner states have gone up significantly since the founding of the SCO. I think that's the most concrete outcome. So even for the next 10 years, we'll be looking at trade and economic cooperation going up to the next level probably. And let me just give you a few numbers, because I'm a business news anchor and I'm really sensitive with numbers. For instance, look at China's trade with SCO countries. Just look at the first 7 months of this year. That number has reached 2.11 trillion yuan, which is about 588 billion US dollars. That's only for the first 7 months of the year, and that's gone up by 3% already from the same period last year. I'm specifically talking about that period of time because that is the time when the world has gone through a lot of uncertainty in trade tariffs, geopolitical disputes as well, and even amid that big background, we're still looking at a trade growth among SCO members in China. So I think for the next 10 years, development and common prosperity will be the key for all SCO members.
Right, absolutely. You paint a very succinct picture, and thank you for doing that. And I do want to definitely focus on the bilateral that has happened between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping just a short while ago. Trade has been the focal point for both the countries. Even when Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited India, there were conversations that were revolving around trade, of how there is a need for now to open up the halts that had been made for the exports that were until 5 years ago being brought from China into India, including fertilizers, and you talk about rare earth minerals, and you're talking about the boring machines and so on and so forth. What does the future of India-China trade relations look like here on?
Both China and India are major emerging economies, developing economies. And if we look at the economic structures of China and India, we can see they're actually highly complementary. Hence, cooperation between the two nations can be mutually beneficial. And that also rhymes with the Shanghai spirit, which focuses on mutual trust, mutual beneficial, non-interference. Just to name a few of the sectors that each country is strong in, for instance, we know India is really strong in IT, software, pharmaceuticals, and China is good in, let's say, renewable energies, electronics, infrastructure, etc., etc. And trade volumes between the two nations for the first 6 months of 2025 reached more than 74 billion US dollars. That is a very impressive number, and it's more than 10% increase from a year ago. So moving forward, we're hoping, I believe that the SCO framework can serve as a solid foundation for further growth and development of China-India economic growth, because we all know safety allows economies to grow, right? So within this framework, with the SCO as a framework, providing a secure environment for nations to do trade, I mean, safety makes businesses easier to do trade and investment. I believe that in the future, we can forge synergetic development between the two economies.
Right, and there has been a concern from the Indian side, especially when it comes to the balance of trade that is heavily tilted towards China. How do you think those corrections can be made in the future?
And I said, if we look at economic structures, both countries' economic structures at the moment are highly complementary. So I think mutual cooperation, mutual beneficial is the key. So moving forward, we all are looking at to develop our own, for instance, high-tech economies. For instance, even with high technology like artificial intelligence, I mean, technologies like that do not really belong to one company, one country. It has to be a better good, a greater good that serves all people in the world. So I think if we deal with business, if we do business deals, and if we cooperate on the basis of dialogue and mutual beneficial, in the end, I think the trade will be balanced to its part, and then will be beneficial to both its peoples.
Right, absolutely. And finally, I do want to understand from you, we're speaking about how many nations that are touched by the SCO summit. 24 of them gathered over here. There are 10 international organizations that are also participating. What is the potential of trade amongst all these nations that are now finding a footing within the SCO summit and becoming part of the SCO family?
I think the key for nations coming here is that they all understand that security and development, they are actually two sides of one coin. They always go hand in hand. So when all those nations coming, and probably more partners are looking to join this framework in the future, I think what they're seeking is security and development, to have those two things together. And as I said earlier, safety makes it easier for economies to grow, makes business easier. Safety as serving as the foundation for economy to grow. I told you earlier about taking an example of China's growth trade with SCO members. And another example is that I remember the number would be in year 2024, I think more than 19,000 China-Euro freight trains went through SCO borders. And that's a great number and helps to sustain supply chains in today's highly fragmented world. And I mean, the trade orders are disrupted in many ways. And I think the role that the SCO plays as a stabilizer for global economic growth, especially for global South economies, is foundational. So I think with nations coming to join us on this summit, what they're looking for, the message they're looking for, would be a shared prosperity with security as the base. I think in a world today that we were faced with so much uncertainty in trade, geopolitical disruption, geopolitical tensions, disruptions in global trade orders, the SCO offers a different answer. I think it actually weaves into a new narrative that is true security is never based on isolation, it's based on connectivity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lily, for talking to us. And it's great to be in Tianjin, and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
I hope you get a chance to tour around Tianjin. I mean, Tianjin, the city itself, is a perfect example of development, synergized development. If you look at its history, the city blends the old with new. I hope you get a chance to tour around it and have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.